regulation will allow you to do the verifications. But what's a verification? ¿Qué sería una verificación? Okay, okay. All right. So one comment here is maybe it's lack of personnel, lack of planning, and lack of ¿qué más dijiste, Luca? Recursos and resources. Yeah, that could be. What else? Knowledge. We import food, right? Are we technicians? Do we know about hazard? Do we know risk assessment? Do we know how to read a microbial result? ¿Sabemos cómo hacer un hazard? ¿Sabemos cómo hacer un, muchas veces, a lot of times, a lot of importers begin a result and they sell produce. Right? So this is, and we're going to see it later on, y lo vamos a ver más adelante. This is where you need the qualified individual. And the regulation is very specific on that. Esto es donde tú necesitas un individuo calificado. La regulación es bien específica en eso. Tú puedes tener un individuo calificado interno o externo. You can have a qualified individual that is internal or external, which is good because that gives you more options. Before I jump into that, I'm gonna cut my slide here. Now, but if you look at this verification, and that's what I see with most of my clients. The verification has been the issue because it's very hard. Well, what am I going to verify on? Can I just get an audit? And you could. It depends on the type of audit. Depende del tipo de auditoría. Can I just get a water result and that should be sufficient? Oh, it depends. If you import a very low risk commodity, si importas un producto con muy baja probabilidad de riesgo, then yeah, maybe, but I don't think so. Yo no creo que sea suficiente. So tú tienes que decidir, you have to decide which verification activities you're going to do. ¿Qué actividades de verificación vas a hacer? I seem very complex verification activities and I seem very simple to the point verification activities. So he visto de todo, unos que son muy complejas, actividades de verificación, otras que son muy específicas al punto se debe cubrir. So you have to decide on that. So I'm going to jump to 2021. Same issue. Most of them are verification activities, supply verification, supply verification. Did not develop an FSVP program. If you think about these numbers, 2021, there were almost 800 non-compliance for non-developing the program. 2022, it shrank a little bit to 725 or 736, something like that. So importers are responding to this. But nevertheless, the thing that I see the most problematic problem, the problem that I see up there besides not developing the FSVP plan is verifications. So el problema que más veo con la industria no solamente es el desarrollo de sus manuales, procesos, procedimientos, pero las actividades de verificación. I'm going to jump into that later on as to how we can help them. Before I go there, is Google right now. Go to FDA enforcement action. Vayan a este sitio. De hecho, you can just type it. I'm going to open it here, but I want you to have it. Quiero que lo tengan. No para espantar a nadie, sino para que lo tengan como conocimiento. Not to scare anybody, but you know about it. Here I've informed the actions that the FDA can take against your company. Now, this is for all type of enforcements, okay? It's not only FSVP, it's everything, all right? And I'm only gonna do emphasis onto what I see on the market. I'm sorry, y solo voy a hacer énfasis en lo que veo en el mercado, warning letters. So that's the meaning of a warning letter, but they can also do pero aparte de la carta de advertencia, y ese es el énfasis que voy a hacer aquí, porque todavía no he visto alguno de los demás. One of the things that gets me thinking every time I do this, una de las cosas que me pone a pensar cada que hago una de estas cosas, es this part. ¿Cómo interpretarían ustedes esta parte? Intent to defraud or mislead. Un intento de defraudar. Engañar. ¿Qué pasa? What happens if you say that you're doing verification activities and you sign a date and you put a date a year back? Today's date. ¿Qué pasa ahí si le ponemos una fecha anterior? Does that fall into defraud? Mislead? Absolutely. Yeah. So be very careful what you sign on the dates. Be very honest. The last thing you want to do is sign something that is not real. If you want to change the dates, something, just do a corrective action. Alguna acción correctiva, cambie la fecha, no se meten problemas. We done so many FSVP programs in the US that I worry a lot about that. Yo me preocupo de ello. Porque I don't want to be in that case because there are your penalties. Y la que más me preocupa, aquí están las penalidades, y la que más me preocupa es the one at the bottom, la de hasta abajo. So we have to be very careful. We have to do the right thing. Right? Now, is the FDA going to enforce this right now? Probably not. But I don't know. Once again, I don't work for them. They have to receive orders from the top and then they bring it back. I think it's more educational right now. Ahorita van a enforzar esto. Lo más probable es que no. La verdad no sé, yo no estoy con ellos. Pero sí he escuchado que ellos deben de... Oh. A lo mejor no lo van a enfocar, no sé, cosa de ellos, pero we have to be ready, pero nosotros tenemos que estar listos. Because the last thing we want is a letter that tells me, hey buddy, you know what, you're misleading, you're doing this, and lo último que quiero es que me llegue una carta de ellos que me diga, me estás engañando. No, no me. So vamos a continuar, we're going to continue with this. And by the way, for those that do not know me, por aquellos que no me conocen, you can stop me at any time and ask me questions, okay? The more you ask, the more everybody will learn. Si me pueden parar lo que quieran y tienen dudas, no importa, entender, porque it triggers another part of my brain that says, oh yeah, that happens, me despierta otra parte de mi cerebro y les voy a dar más información. Okay, so this is the warning letter. These are, I've seen several of them. In fact, all of this is public domain and the list is longer than that, but I just copy paste out that list. Those are some of the companies that have received warning letters. And I copy pasted this 3 or 4 days ago. If my name was over there, I would have just responded to the FDA, begged, sent out the documents, sent out the information, get me out of here. I don't want my compadres to see all of this. No quiero mis compradores o compadres que vean todo esto. So make sure that if you know anybody that is there, tell them to get out of that list. That's not good. It's not good for anybody. So now we're going to start the FSVP verification program. So the first part is just an introduction, what's going on, what's going to happen. Please raise your hand if you have an FSVP plan already implemented. All right, great. Raise your hand if you have been visited by the FDA. Levante la mano si lo ha visitado la FDA para el FSVP plan. All right. Good. So the rest of you, if you haven't been visited, believe me, those guys are calling companies every week, 2 or 3 companies per week for your investigator. So you will be visited. No sé cuándo, pero van a ser visitados, ¿ok? Porque sí van a ser visitados. De repente estoy en juntas, sometimes I'm in meetings with clients and I'm going like, oh, they're gonna call you, man. They're gonna call you, and the next day, you told them to call me. No, just know they're gonna call you. You know, y de repente, oye, te van a necesitar, y luego al otro día, yeah, because I know. So what happens, the first time they go, and they give you a corrective action, and you comply with the corrective action, expect them back within 6 to 9 months to a year. So si te dieron una acción correctiva y mandaste la acción correctiva, van a regresar en un periodo de 6 a 1 año después. And they will get back, believe me. Because I even have a candle, I was like, oh, these guys are going to be visited soon. So, you know, I kind of know the times. So si ya los visitaron y no tuvieron, make sure you have your program. So who's responsible for the food safety? The Food, Drug, and Cosmetic Act. ¿Quién es el responsable de la inocuidad de los alimentos? Yeah, you are. All of responsables de cumplir con la regulación. Okay. So el Food, Drug, and Cosmetic Act places all the responsibility on you as food manufacturing company, as a grower, distributor, anybody that handles food. So todo el mundo que produce, maneja, almacena alimentos es responsable de cumplir con los programas de inocuidad. Some of them have higher standards, others are different, and I'm going to go through that in a second. Algunos tienen unos estándares diferentes, otros son diferentes, otros los maneja el USDA, others are managed by the USDA, but I'm going to go to the ones that matter to you. Pero voy a cubrir los que realmente te importan a ti. So FSMA affects the whole supply chain. Okay? So FSMA nos afectó a todos, ¿no? Todos tenemos que ver algo con FSMA. So if you are a foreign or domestic manufacturer or processor or packer or holder of food, si eres un procesador, un manufacturador, una empresa que almacena alimentos, you have to comply with FSMA under Regulation 117, which will be a hazard analysis and implement preventive controls, que significa un análisis de riesgos y en base a eso implementas controles preventivos. For most of your warehouses in here, you fall under that regulation, but the comply with is good manufacturing practices. Casi todos ustedes en las bodegas caen bajo la regulación de controles preventivos, pero solamente tienen que cumplir con la parte de buenas prácticas de manufactura. Now, there are some cases, hay algunos casos where you need to comply with the whole preventive controls rules, donde tienes que cumplir con todos los controles preventivos. Especially for those companies that do, especialmente por esas compañías que hacen in and out and they have multiple clients, que hacen in and out y tienen muchos clients. Porque ¿cómo sé si uno de esos clients me deja un listeria dentro de mi warehouse? How do I know that one of those clients leaves a listeria in my warehouse? I mean, I don't even know how to do it on science, but yeah. Right, yeah, if they do repacking, they have to comply with a good manufacturing practices program. If they do repacking for multiple farmers, they have to comply with the preventive controls rule. Yep, well, yeah, it goes, yes, but it goes a little bit further than that. It goes into the preventive controls rules. Yeah. That is correct. Yes, sir. Absolutely. The second part of the regulation is for growers, right? Any grower that produces or grows food needs to comply with the produce safety rule. That's the regulation that your foreign supplier needs to comply with. So la segunda parte es para productores. Hay una regulación para productores que se llama Ley de Inocuidad para Productos Agrícolas Frescos. Esa es la ley que tu proveedor extranjero, que es un agricultor, debe de cumplir con ella. Y hay cosas, ya, más adelante. Es 21 CFR 112 for growers, and for manufacturing facilities, it's going to be 21 CFR 117. Yeah, no worries, no worries. And then you as an importer, y tú como importador, debes de cumplir con la ley del FSVP. You need to comply with FSVP. Now, of all these regulations, de todas estas regulaciones, the only one, la única, que puso la responsabilidad, that put the responsibility on the shoulders of the importer, is the FSVP. Que puso la responsabilidad en los hombros del importador es el FSVP. If something happens with the food that you import, who's going to be responsible, you or the grower or your foreign supplier? ¿Quién es el responsable? Yeah, you are going to be as an importer. All right. That's what I ask you to look at the FDA website first. Now, who within the company is going to be responsible? Owner, board of directors, managers, whomever is responsible. El responsable de esa empresa, so la ley hace responsable al FSVP importer. The regulation makes the FSVP importer responsible, okay? Not the qualified individual, not the food safety guy, is the FSVP importer. Es el FSVP importador. So, ¿quién es el FSVP importer? The company, la empresa. So, who manages the company? Who owns the company? You know, those are things that you gotta look more into detail. Esas son las cosas que ves más en detail, porque el dueño del... So, ¿quién es el dueño de la importadora? You know, ¿quién maneja la importadora? So, it'll be really easy for somebody that owns a big company to say, oh, but you're a qualified individual, you're responsible, you make sure everything happens. Yeah, you make sure everything happens, but if something doesn't happen correctly, it goes back to them. Because they are the importer. Right? So, si algo no pasa bien, ellos son responsables. So, esta es la regulación. This is regulation. I'm sorry, keep moving this. If you don't hear... foreign suppliers, at least on the product safety rule. Is there somebody here that imports other kinds of produce? Foods, baby food, infant formula, pastas. Okay, so you fall under 117. Okay, if you bring other types of processed foods, then you will fall under regulation 117. And I'll talk to you more about that. I'll give you more examples. But for most of the examples that I have today, por la mayoría de los ejemplos que tengo hoy es para productores agrícolas, es for grower suppliers. But I will get back to you. So 117, and 117 has 7 requirements. Employee hygiene and sanitation, soil amendments. So tiene 7 requisitos. Well, de hecho son 6, pero la higiene del personal, lo que se le pone al suelo para que se amendments, como fertilizantes, manure. También vamos a ver buenas prácticas de manufactura, vamos a ver animales, manejo de animales, fauna silvestre, animales domésticos, y una que es bien importante es el agua. And one that is very important is the quality of water. So that's what your suppliers need to do. Okay. Is it easy? It really is easy to comply with the regulation. It is very easy. It's not complex. The regulation was made so that small growers and big growers can comply with it. Yeah. Now, it is up to you. So la regulación es bien fácil de cumplir. Porque es pequeño y grande. Pero better, stronger, and take it to a higher level. y la llevas a otro nivel más alto. So this is a product safety rule. This is what it requires. Esto es el product safety rule. Esto es lo que requiere que los proveedores hagan. Workers' health, soil amendments, wildlife, agricultural water, post-harvest handling and sanitizing. Estos son realmente son esos 6. It's not difícil. Hay muchos entrenamientos específicos. There is a lot of specific training that your suppliers need to do. But I'm not going to go in detail because that's not you. That's your supplier. That will be for you. Back there, well, you left. That will be for processed food, okay? Now, there's something interesting here. Who brings mangoes? Who brings papaya? All right. So when they have a papaya packing house and they source from multiple farms, that packing house automatically falls under 117. If the papaya doesn't own more of what they produce, then automatically goes into 117. So si un productor de papaya que compra muchas fincas y ellos no son dueños de cuando menos el 51% de la producción, automáticamente ese empaque cae en la regulación 117, que son controles preventivos. Right? So, estos son los pequeños detalles que si QI sabría. Ok, so ahora me voy a ir al importador. So, ¿quién es el importador? ¿Alguien sabe quién es el importador? ¿Una idea? It could be the same importer record and importer, but they're different. Who's the importer? For the rule, who's the FSVP importer?
The owner of the goods.
The owners of the food that you import, yeah. Owner, agent, or consignee, right? That's the FSVP importer. The FSVP importer, el FSV importador es el que es el dueño del alimento, puede ser un agente o un consignatario. Pero el dueño del alimento, bueno, la empresa que lo importa, a ese se le llama FSVP importer. You could be both the FSVP importer and the importer of record. Tú puedes ser ambos, el FSVP importer and the importer of record. O the importer of record could be somebody else, but you still are the FSVP importer. O el importador en record puede ser alguien más, pero tú sigues siendo el FSVP importer o el importador FSVP. Now, this is what a lot of foreign or FSVP importers have issues with. ¿Alguien sabe? Esto es donde muchos de los importadores tienen problemas. ¿Alguien sabe quién es el foreign supplier? ¿A qué se le considera el proveedor extranjero? Who's the foreign supplier? It's on the slide, but ¿alguien lo sabe? Está en la diapositiva. The grower, okay. The packing house, ¿alguien más? The producer of the food. So the packing house produces the food. Only they own the farm. But if they don't own the farm will be your foreign supplier. So on the article is the company that manufactures, processes the food, raises the animal, grows the food. So in tu caso, in your case, who's your supplier? Who's your foreign supplier? Or on the soda thing? Coca-Cola. Even if he buys it through a broker, Coca-Cola is his supplier. Are you going to be able to get orders from Coca-Cola? Oh. Are you going to be able to do risk assessments on Coca-Cola plants? Yeah, see, that's where it gets very complex. Ahí es donde se complica, porque no es tan fácil. Cuando empezamos a hacer brokeraje o brokering or stuff like that out of Mexico, it gets very, very complex. And I'm going to give you some examples. Not really, because then you have somebody in that dulceria or ese lugar that buys only from approved suppliers, and you have some sort of verification activity to those suppliers. So it's complex, but not impossible. And it requires resources. Que por ahí dijeron que al principio requerían de recursos. No, sí se puede hacer, pero es más complejo. Y créanme que lo estamos haciendo con muchas empresas. Slowly, muy lento, pero we're working on it. So I'm going to give an example on this. Y aquí muchos de ustedes que compran de brokers se van a dar cuenta de algunas cosas. So ese es su FSVP importer. So ya definimos, we define who's the FSVP importer, ¿ok? ¿Quién es el FSVP importador? El que importa alimento, the person that imports, that owns, is a consignee or the agent. Consignatario, el que importa, el dueño. So that is clear. Now, you're gonna buy from this guy in Mexico that all they do is just issue an invoice. Vas a comprar por esta persona que lo único que hacen es dar un invoice. Because the grower, they don't want to get their permits to export, they think Hacienda is too complex, and they use somebody else to just do the imports. Y ellos usan a alguien más para hacer las operaciones de importación. The goods come from a packing house. Yeah. Y el dinero, los productos vienen del packing house, y el dinero goes from the importer to the person that does the factoraje or the invoices to the packing house, right? And then that packing house has growers or packers that sell to them that you import, but the paperwork goes through the guy in the middle. So who are you going to prove? ¿A quién vas a probar cuando el FSVP importer es uno? El que hace las invoices es otro, el factoraje que le llaman, el que empaca y el que produce es otro. So who is your foreign supplier? That will be the FSVP importer. I'm sorry, but who's your foreign supplier? Yeah, that should be in a perfect scenario. But this is going to come from the factoraje guy. And is that your foreign supplier? Yeah, so be careful, because we're getting a lot of reactions. But all they do is the invoicing. We'll explain to the FDA that they are not the foreign supplier, because they're not. But it comes from that grower. Okay, give me the verification activities of this grower. Entonces dame las actividades de verificación de este productor. So ahora ven cómo se hace bien. No, I haven't finished them. Now, the packer also owns their own food, sends the food to you, but uses the same channels on paperwork. So el empacador también tiene sus cultivos, te los manda a ti, pero usa también el mismo mecanismo para hacer el invoicing o las imports. So, ¿quién es tu proveedor extranjero? The grower. And who do you need to verify? The grower. Absolutely, that's part of it. But who's your foreign supplier? Who are you responsible for? Yep. El que produce la fruta. ¿Por qué? Why? Because they are the ones that can control the highest of the risk. On the packing house, you're not going to eliminate a salmonella that is already coming from the field. It doesn't have a killing step. No tiene un punto para eliminar una salmonella que ya viene del cultivo. So el grower can control the environment. El productor debe controlar el environment. Puede controlar el ambiente. Puede controlar el agua, puede controlar el empleado, puede controlar los animales. So they have more control than the packing house. The packing house doesn't have any control other than clean, pack. They don't have a killing step. No hay un punto para eliminar las bacterias. The only way they will become a foreign supplier is if they were to make mango marmalade. Because now they'll have a killing step. Now they will become the supplier. So, nada más cuidado. So, aquí está otro escenario. So, tengo mi FSVP importer, is you. Tengo un packing house y broker. Tengo un empacador y un México compra a todos estos farms. Y además, and also, grower 1 buys from an A. If you are, si tú eres el FSVP importer, the FSVP importer, who is your foreign supplier? ¿Quién es tu proveedor extranjero? In this case, the grower. So were you going to be able to check grower 1A when he sells to grower 1? And grower 1 says to the packing that sells to you. So it could get very complex. Puede convertirse en un asunto muy complejo. So the first thing we do, lo primero que hacemos is map your operation. We need to see really who you're buying from. Because if we fly blind, we're going to crash. You have to be very transparent. Tienes que ser muy transparente, porque si no, si quieres, vas a estar manejando ciego. Y si manejas ciego, te vas a estrellar. I've seen it many times. These are preguntas.
So what about for customers that are buying from brokers and they're afraid to, the broker's like, no, let's just go through my position and jump over me.
I don't know. I don't have an answer for that. That's something you gotta. Yeah, that's. But then again, do you share your audits? Do you share the audits with your clients?
Yes.
Do you know that all the information of your client is on that audit? Sharing that information. ¿Sí sabían eso? Toda la información de tu proveedor está en la auditoría pidiendo ya a sus clientes. So ya están compartiendo eso. So. You know, that's a decision. I don't get involved in that. Once it becomes money decision, I'm out of there. No, yeah. So here's another example, and this is just more of a. I was gonna do one by one, but I'm gonna go here. El comprador de Estados Unidos, tú le vendes a ese comprador. Hay un packing house y además compras, and you also buy from the central market in Monterrey or Mexico City. And then you have growers going through that packing house to you, and then some growers sell to the pack house in Chihuahua, and then Central de Abastos to the terminal market, and everything goes to you, and then it goes to the buyer. Somebody dies. Little kid died, so listeria poisoning, you know. So who's going to be responsible for that? ¿Quién es el responsable si alguien se muere? The importer. It will be you as an FSVP importer. Unless you have arrangements with your US buyer for them to be the FSVP importer, which it doesn't happen very often. But... ¿Dudas y preguntas hasta ahorita? ¿Vamos bien? Everything good? You guys getting it? No falling asleep? All right. So it's, okay. So at the beginning, we talk about FSVP importer and the importer of records. So there's two different things, but you could be the same. So I'm not going to spend too much time in this. What I'm going to tell you is that whomever is the FSVP importer is the company or person that the FDA is going to be dealing with. Okay, la empresa o persona que sea el FSVP importador, esa es la persona a la que el FDA va a estar hablando con. Obviamente, dentro de esa empresa hay un encargado de inocuidad, un qualified individual, so obviously there's an internal qualified individual or safety manager or whomever is responsible for the program, o quien sea responsable del programa. So this is why when the FDA sends the letter, it sends it to the company. An FSVP importer has to be a person in the United States. So lately, because a lot of the companies don't want to deal with this, I've been getting calls from growers in Mexico. Y me han hecho llamadas productores en México y dicen, hey, I'm going to be the FSVP importer, but I don't want to be in the States. I don't want to open a company. I don't want to do anything. I just want to do the paperwork. Can you help? No. it has to be in the United States. It has to be somebody in the United States. So me han preguntado mucho que si los puedo ayudar en Estados Unidos sin que se abra una oficina, sin que estén aquí, sin que todo como que en the cloud, pero no hay nada más. Y pues no puedo porque yo no soy el FSVP supporter. Tiene que ser una persona, it has to be a person in the US, tiene que ser una persona en Estados Unidos. Una persona se define también, a person is defined too as a business or entity, como un negocio o entidad, también se define así. Ok, al principio hablamos de qualified individual, so, ¿quién es el qualified individual? Who's the qualified individual? ¿Tú? Ok, ¿qué haces como qualified individual? What do you do? Okay, so you do the activities on the other side of the border. What else? What else do you guys do as a qualified individual? ¿Qué más hacen? ¿No? Okay, you're responsible for building the program, building the SOPs, process, procedure, policies. Ustedes son responsables de hacer los manuales, procesos, procedimientos. Decide which actividades de verificaciones vas a hacer y darle seguimiento a tu programa and follow up through the process of your program. You're going to write it and you're going to execute it. Escribir y lo vas a ejecutar. Es el qualified individual. Will the qualified individual be liable? Who knows? Because if you're negligent, no. So el individuo calificado va a ser responsable legalmente, quién sabe, a menos de que seas muy negligente. ¿Nadie tiene una duda o pregunta aquí? Any questions, doubts, concerns? So vamos a continuar entonces. Hay tres tipos y antes de continuar vamos a tomar 10-minute break. Y ahí hay café, agua, panes, para que despierten, aprovechen, hagan sus preguntas. So we're going to take 10-minute break. There's water, bread, cookies. And we're going to continue with a few more slides, and then I'm going to let you go. But I'm going to go into a little bit of the technical and your responsibilities. Vamos a ver mucho de la parte técnica y tus responsabilidades. So take a break, 10 minutes, do your calls.
Test, 1, 2. Test, 1, 2. 1, 2.
But the ground's not there.
Test, 1, 2. Test, 1, 2.
There it went super high. Count to 5.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Any questions so far? So we know what your suppliers need to be in compliance with. Sabemos qué es lo que tiene que hacer tu proveedor. We know that you are the FSVP importer. Sabemos que tú eres el FSVP importer. You know that you have foreign suppliers that need to be verified. Tú sabes que tienes proveedores extranjeros que tienen que ser verificados. So now we're going to move a little bit into what types of FSVP programs are out there. Vamos a ver qué tipos de programas FSVP existen, right? Y son tres. There are three of them. The first one is the standard FSVP. I bet that 99.9% of the people that are here need to do the standard FSVP. The second one is modified, right? And the third one is exempt. I've been having a lot of exempt talks with some of the inspectors, and I cannot win. So he estado en muchas pláticas con los inspectores pensando que estaba exento, pero no están exentos. And I'm going to go to some real examples. Y vamos a hacer unos ejemplos reales. So primero, el estándar. Si tú importas alimento, if you import the food, and you own the food, and it's more than $1 million, and you sell more than $1 million a year, then you're probably going to be standard. If you import product from Canada, let's say you have greenhouses in Ontario and you bring peppers to Michigan, then you're probably going to have a modified FSVP because Canada has the same level of food safety as the United States, and the only thing you have to do is verify that that supplier is in compliance with their local regulations. So si me traes morrones de Canadá, los traes de Ontario a Michigan, y en Michigan los importas, tú vas a tener un FSVP modificado. Modificado porque lo único que tienes que hacer es verificar que ese proveedor cumple con las regulaciones de Canadá y que está al día con las regulaciones de Canadá. Hay 3 países más, there's 3 more countries that have the same level as the US, que tienen el mismo nivel de seguridad que los Estados Unidos. Es Nueva Zelanda, Australia, and Canada. No, there's only 3 of them, in Canada. Esos son los únicos 3 where you can get a modified, donde puedes tener un modificado, sobre todo con produce, okay? Because there's other foods that are different things you got to comply with. Sobre todo con producto fresco. Hay otros alimentos que tienen que hacer algo más a pesar de que son modificados. Y hay algunos alimentos que se pueden ir de modificado a estándar. So, me voy a enfocar en produce. So I'm going to do the emphasis on produce, okay? So I don't want to go into too much detail. And then you have the exempts. Y tiene los exemptos. So hay varios que son exemptos. You know, seafood is exempt. Alcohol beverage is exempt. Mariscos. Meat, that's USDA responsibility. So there's exemptions. And also for produce, si tú importas, if you import less than $1 million, you could be exempt. Puede ser exento. But be careful, pero be very careful here. Because I can import less than $1 million, but I'm a broker on the US, and I sell $5 million worth of sales. I'm no longer exempt because my sales are higher than $1 million. So be very careful when you try to claim that you're exempt because you import very little money. And then, now you're going to have to open your accounting books. So how many people want to open the accounting books to the FDA? I don't know, that's something extra, but just be careful with the exemption on a small importer. Because yes, it's less than $1 million, and then the sales, you have to take into account the total amount of sales. ¿Cuántos aquí caen en standard FSVP? How many of you are standard FSVP? Yeah. ¿Alguien de aquí está modified? Somebody here has a modified FSVP? Exempt? Or maybe thinks that is exempt. O a lo mejor piensa que está exento. No. Está bien, no worries. So for those of you, para aquellos que han tomado la clase, that took the class, this is one of the slides, and I think this is perfect. It is a really good slide, actually. I like it. Y es una de las diapositivas que ven en el curso, y de ahí la tomé, okay? Oh, by the way, tomorrow I have a class on this the whole day. You want to talk about it? Let me know. It's from 8 to 4 at the DoubleTree. Anyway, so hazard analysis. So you're going to do a hazard analysis. Ustedes van a hacer un análisis de peligro. ¿En qué van a hacer el análisis de peligro? ¿Alguien sabe? Who knows on what we're going to do the hazard analysis? Right. Yeah, but on what? On the commodity that you import, right? On the product. Exactly. So let's say he's going to bring Coca-Cola. What will be the risk assessment like? Biological, physical, chemical? On what? Yeah, known, reasonable, foreseeable hazards. Huh? Peligros que se conocen, se saben o que pudieran ocurrir. So that's known, reasonable, or foreseeable hazards. I'm not going to get too technical with you, but those are names and acronyms that you need to know. So now you're going to do hazard analysis for each product that you import. So let's say that so van a hacer análisis de peligros por cada producto que importa. So vamos a decir que yo traigo, let's say I bring oranges, lemons, and limes. Que yo tengo limones, naranjas y limón. So key limes and limones de los amarillos. How many hazard analysis I need to make? ¿Cuántos análisis de peligros tengo que hacer? Well, because it's citrus. Yeah. So yeah, I know I say per commodity, but now I'm making you say, hey, you're tricking me. No, well, that's one group. So es un grupo. So you can do one. Let's say you bring cilantro, albahaca, mint. So basil, cilantro, and mint. If you have the process the same way, you group them together. That's at the packing. We're on the import side. So on the import side, you're responsible to do the hazard analysis on the product that you import, not on the process. You're going to verify the process, but not the commodity.
There was a situation though in the past that some importers got in trouble for importing for a pesticide being used in lemons. And the lemons was the pesticide was approved on limes, but it wasn't in lemons.
Yeah.
And therefore, is it really the same FSVP for the same commodities even though it's citrus? Because they still have different pesticide rules.
All right. So yeah, but let me go there. So in that case, now we're going to do, when you do the hazard analysis, you have to know the known, reasonable, foreseeable hazards. If you know that limes came out with a pesticide that is not allowed or permitted, then part of your chemical hazard analysis is going to do pesticides. Foreign suppliers might use the wrong pesticide. That's generic, but it applies to all of them. I'm not going to go specific to this pesticide. Be careful when you try to go specific to a pesticide. Tengan cuidado cuando quieran ser específico con pesticida, because now the inspector might ask you, okay, I want to see the whole list of pesticides. It's a good question, but you have to, tienes que saber cómo escribirlo. You have to know how to answer that. And you will cover that issue with my use illegal pesticides. Is known that they use illegal pesticides on the past. If you want to put limes, just highlight limes, and that will take care of that. All right, so let me go back a little bit here. So the hazard analysis is going to be per commodity or group of commodities, okay? So lo hacen por el grupo de productos o por el producto solo. So en el caso, in the case that you bring tomatoes, cucumbers, and bell peppers. So van a traer tomates, pepinos, y morrón. ¿Cuántos hazard analysis? 3. 1 for each commodity. There are some investigators, some inspectors, that you can group all of them as fruits and vegetables. Yeah. But there are others that will ask you, no, I want to see the commodities. So just do the commodities and, don't get in trouble. It's more work, but it works. Now you got to do, the next step is evaluating your foreign supplier. ¿Cómo lo van a evaluar? El segundo paso, evaluar su proveedor extranjero. ¿Cómo lo evalúan? Yeah, FDA website. Yep. Yep. Look at the history. What else? That will be verification, but yeah, it could be part of the evaluation. ¿Qué más? ¿Qué pueden hacer? Esas son parte de las verificaciones, pero ya te ayudan. Enfóquese en el historial. Just go to the history of that supplier. Is that company been in detention? ¿Ha estado en detención? Do we have issues with that particular supplier? We had any issues in the last 2-3 years. Tuvimos problemas hace 2-3 años. Todo esto lo pueden buscar en el FDA Data Dashboard, en el tablero de la FDA. Si le hacen Google FDA Data Dashboard, ahí van a encontrar una herramienta. So you're going to get a tool in the Data Dashboard. FDA Data Dashboard. So ahí es como vas a definir. En ese momento vas a empezar a decir, I got information from this guy, no? So at that moment, you know what type of information, and whether you use that information to approve them or not, it's up to you. And then you're going to do your foreign supply verifications. That's when we start going through the letters of guarantee, results, audits, verifications on site. How many? You decide. There's not a recipe for that. The regulation is open. You can do 1, you can do 100. It's up to you. Just to give you one example, y para darles, o sea, tú puedes decir cuántas, 1, 100, 20, la regulación no te dice, a fuerzas tiene que ser 3, no. Va a depender, it depends on the risk of the commodity, depende del riesgo del producto, depende de la zona donde entregas tu producto, it depends on the zone where you bring in the product, it depends on, there's many variables. So you'll decide. Just to give you one example, and nada más para darte un ejemplo, I have a client that has, like 100 to 200 grower suppliers, un cliente que tiene 200, 300 proveedores, and they asked me, we need a hazard analysis for each one of them. Y me preguntaron, necesitamos el análisis de peligros de cada uno de ellos. And I'm just going like, so let's say you get 100. How many minutes or hours will take to verify each one of them? Let's say 30 minutes, all right? So 30 minutes times 100, how many hours? How many days? Do you really have the time? So realmente tiene el minuto de verificar un análisis de peligros cada 30 minutos. 1 por 30 minutos, por 100, se multiplica días, horas, y realmente lo vas a hacer bien. And you're also going to do it right. Because who's going to sign? Who's going to date it? The qualified individual that is responsible for that, or the person that verifies it. And once you sign and once you date it, it's on you. Okay? So be careful what you ask for. Now, if you have a very high-risk commodity, oh my God, I asked for a lot of stuff. If I have a low-risk commodity, si tengo un producto de bajo riesgo, pregunto menos. High risk, I ask for more. Pero una vez más, once again, you need to decide. So the verifications, you can do many verifications. Audits, and I went through that. Verifications on site. We do about 500 verifications on site every year. FDA takes our verification, okay, it doesn't have to be a third-party audit because we have teams all over Latin America, and they do the verifications on site. We send it back to the FDA, they revise it. They love it, as a matter of fact, because we only verify the regulation. I don't verify anything else that is not regulation related. For some of you growers that need to be in compliance, so they need to do an audit, but they cannot do the audit today, we do the verification, and that helps. You know, it's like the first step for them to start getting into the program. Then you need to do a revaluation of your foreign supplier. ¿Cada cuándo los tienen que evaluar? ¿Cada cuándo tienen que hacer la revaluación de los foreign suppliers? Don't get confused. A lot of people are like, every year. Well, every year you update their certificates, update their verifications, but the whole enchilada is every 3 years. O when an issue arises. So la verificación es cada 3 años. El que estés actualizando tu programa lo vas a hacer cada año, porque cada año hay información nueva. O si pasa un peligro, ¿no? We got to stop at the border with salmonella. Oh, we got to do a revaluation of that supplier. So we do this, the whole 1, 2, 3. Well, it says 4, 5, 6, but 1, 2, 3, and 4. And then the port of entry, I'm not going to spend too much time on that. Everybody has that. And then finally, the records. Records are like key on this program. There's such a key that there's companies just selling data management systems, data this, data that, because you need records. But they're forgetting the meat. The meat is on the verifications. We already saw how many people are not meeting compliance because of verifications. All right, so watch where you put your dollar. Yes, sí.
Eso de los 3 años no es tan cierto, porque a nosotros nos auditaron en el 21, por el 20 hubo pandemia, se le presentó la documentación en el 19 y no la sacó.
¿Cuándo te auditaron? ¿El 22 o el 23?
En el 21.
Oh.
No se pudo auditar, ¿sí? Por la pandemia.
Okay. No sé qué representaría, la verdad. Pero recuerda que
tener la certeza o el fundamento de los 3 años legal, porque ahorita lo volvieron a auditar en diciembre, no hubo ninguna objeción, pero sí nos movió mucho en el 21, que se le presentó todo el análisis de todo la objeción de eso, que lo que se presenta no se discutió el problema.
pues la verificación.
No, pero la validación de verificación legalmente hay un fundamento de los 3 años.
Pero no estoy hablando de la verificación en 3 años, estoy hablando de todo el programa. La revaluación de tu proveedor la haces cada 3 años. O cada 3 años haces tu evaluación de tu proveedor otra vez, verificas que estén en buen cumplimiento en el Data Dashboard y lo vuelves a probar. Y tus verificaciones también las puedes haber hecho cada 3 años o ahí tú vas a decir cada cuándo las vas a hacer, pero tú tienes hasta 3 años. La mayor parte de las empresas escogemos 1 año porque cada año lo estamos auditando, cada año lo estamos verificando. Yeah. No.
Auditamos lo que se nos diga, es una función de auditoría. Pero yo me refiero legalmente, FDA tiene estipulado por el fundamento, cada cual estás obligado.
Sí, pero no te digo, tú lo pones en tu FSVP.
Sí, pero la pregunta que
eso se hace legal.
Es el término legal, si hay un fundamento legal.
La verificación existe.
para cambiar su procedimiento. Exactamente. Porque aquí es el tramo legal, no lo que yo diga o lo que dice la ley.
So está por escrito, cada 3 años hace la verificación. Digo, la revaluación, la evaluación de tu proveedor, cada 3 años. La verificación, ahí está en la legislación. Te lo voy a mandar. Ahora, ya. Deja, voy a esa parte también. Mira, en el 18, 19 y 20 hubo una curva de aprendizaje muy fuerte. Hoy en día, they're very sharp. Ya saben exactamente qué pedir y cómo pedirlos. No puedo hablar mucho del pasado. Lo que sí te puedo decir es que la regulación te dice que tú puedes revaluar, tú tienes que revaluar tu programa cada 3 años. Y la verificación es parte, depende de tu SOP, lo que hayas puesto. Ahora recuerda, depende, I wish, pero te digo, hay unos que me piden el análisis de peligro todo junto, ahí está, o por producto. La verdad ahí sí ya no puedo ayudar. Pero lo que te puedo decir es que cada 3 años haces la revaluación de ese proveedor. Ahora, en Importer of Entry, pues ya saben, ¿no? Su DUNS number. Y los records. Si no hay records, if you don't have records, ¿qué pasa? No hay defensa. There's no defense, right? Los records te van a ayudar para defender. Yeah, go ahead. I'm going to charge you for that question. No, not really. So the QI, el individuo calificado is bilingual. That person needs to be able to understand and read the language where you bring in the product. Yeah. So you can have the document in Spanish, but that person needs to write that they review, blah, blah, signed, dated, done. If you have, I mean, they don't, if you give them English documents down there, they don't even do it in Spanish. Why would they do it in English? It's no, don't do that. Just have somebody that's bilingual, review it, sign it, date it. And you guys have it. Go ahead. It helps. So la ley requiere que lo tengas en inglés. All right? So that's the requirement of the law. It has to be in English. But there's ways, so if you cannot do it, then just ways. But you have to be responsible when you sign it and date it. In fact, todo lo que le mandas al FDA has to be in English, but let's say you have a hazard analysis from your suppliers in Spanish or Mandarin or Tagalog or, well, I will have somebody read it, understand it, make comments, and then present that. So here's, so your qualified individual is going to conduct the hazard analysis, and you have to find out what are the high risk, low risk, medium risk, not only with the commodities, but also with the regions where you bring in product. And we know which regions have which problems throughout Latin America, because we have data on that. And that's something that you need to research. But you're going to start from very likely to occur to unlikely to happen. So un riesgo que puede ocurrir o quizás nunca va a ocurrir. Pero siempre, but always think about known, reasonable, foreseeable hazards, peligros que existen o que pudieran ocurrir. That's the key. And that's just, ¿Cuántos de ustedes, how many of you have like a risk assessment like this in your SOPs? Algo similar a esto en tus SOPs. ¿Quién de ustedes tiene esto en su manual? No. Yeah. You're in good shape. So don't call me. Okay. Standard requirements. So to conduct the evaluations on the standard requirements, para conducir las evaluaciones, hay que considerar la historial, los productos, food safety related information, todo lo que es el historial del proveedor, los productos que te envían, toda la información que tengan ellos de inocuidad lo podrías considerar. Oye, pues no tiene nada, but they don't have anything. Well, let's start somewhere. Because every food that comes into the United States has to be approved before it gets into the United States. Porque todo alimento que viene hacia los Estados Unidos debe estar aprobado antes de que llegue a los Estados Unidos. So, si tú estás trayendo alimento que no está aprobado, so if you bring in food that is not approved, or your supplier is not approved, o tu proveedor no está aprobado, are you misleading? Are you in compliance? So, si no tienes tu producto aprobado, ¿estás cumpliendo? No. Okay, parece que es un silencio así como que. Ya no traigan ese speaker. Yeah. That's the other thing. We try to be very transparent. We're going to tell you the way it is. We're not give you a BS, and we do the right thing all the time. Okay, so what I've seen on most of the FSVP that I reviewed is that they forget to, when they bring the manifest, well, the checker or the loader, el que checa o el que descarga no sabe de quién es el producto, no sabe si está aprobado o no está aprobado. So just put an emphasis in there. Hagan un énfasis porque ya he visto auditorías, donde, okay, I need to see the documents for the incoming product and I need to see how you approve them. And I need to see that the unloader sees that that product is approved. How do they know that that product is approved? So it's part of your training, part of whatever documents you decide to do. So I'm going to give you a couple stories that are pretty funny. The first one, I was in Tucson. I was at the airport, and I get a call from somebody in New Mexico, one of the investigators. Well, I'm calling up. We need your FSVP. Do you have it electronic? Yeah, I do have it. Send it over. I'm at the airport. I'm about to get on the plane. Can I give it to you when I land? Do you have it electronically? Yes. Send it over. I land at 4 o'clock. Can you send it over? So obviously I got on the airplane, got on the Wi-Fi. By the time I landed, I was talking to her. So, hey, you got it. Thank you. You don't have time to even breathe or take an airplane. You just have to answer it. So just be ready. There was another instance where I got, we're going to do a recall right now. Because a lot of you do the FSVP, and you think that you have your primals audit and you can do a recall. Try to show right there to recall. And I'm 1,000 miles away from that distribution center. So just be ready for those two. Provide the documents right away. Be ready to do a recall if you. Once again, silence. Man, you gotta laugh. You gotta enjoy it. So for your standard requirements, so we went through this at the beginning. You are responsible for the you import. Tú eres responsable de los alimentos que importan, and only approved suppliers. should be coming into the States. Y solo proveedores aprobados deben estar entrando a Estados Unidos. Oye, pero, hey, I just changed suppliers yesterday and I have the lines already here. Pero cambié proveedores ayer y ya tengo los limones aquí. Oh, gee, good luck. Because you're not meeting regulation. Tú no estás cumpliendo con la regulación. No, I'm not the inspector, I'm not the investigator, I'm helping you. So what are you going to do in those cases? ¿Qué es lo que vas a hacer? Y está SOP, and you have an SOP for that. More silence, damn. So standard requirements and verifications, that's just one example of the verification we do. As you can see, it's almost an audit, and it's just a piece. If you guys want to see it larger, I can just give you a whole demo of what we do. It's about 120 questions. Everything's related to the regulation. You can actually see right here, it points to the number of the regulation that question is being asked for. And then what we do to the supplier, we tell them, you gotta, because we're not auditors, and we are not under any CB or any ISO, we become like consultants to them and like, yeah, you have to do like this is what you need, because we don't have any issues with that. So we do an X-rate of the operations. We give them a little bit of a cure, and then it's up to them to take the medicine or not. But then you can enforce them to take the medicine, because if they don't take the medicine, they're not going to be in compliance, you're not going to be in compliance. Yeah. And we do this all over Latin America and in the world. But if you're interested in those verifications, just talk to me. I don't want to make you waste me selling you something. Requirements. Well, I'm going to come back to the little square every 3 years, so I'm going to go through that again, but at least every 3 years, or when an issue arises, all right? You get a positive for salmonella, te da un positivo por ciclospora, te da un positivo por listeria, you need to reevaluate your supplier, necesitas reevaluar a tu proveedor. Al vecino le dio un positivo con listeria. To my neighbor, he got a positive for listeria. I need to reevaluate my program. Yeah, necesito reevaluar mi programa. ¿Por qué? Porque a pesar de que fue con el vecino, even though it was the neighbor, I need to make sure that whatever happens to them, doesn't happen to me. Lo que pasó a ellos, no quiero que me pase a mí. So I do a reevaluation. So once you start falling out or doing the follow-up on the regulation, you'll verification gets done very often. Cuenta que se va a hacer más de seguido que los 3 años. I'm going to give you one example. So we have a lot of clients that do lettuce. Lettuce is a high-risk commodity, obviously. There was an outbreak 2 years ago or a year and a half ago in Santa Maria. The issue was, I think it was the reservoir, and the E. coli was found at the bottom of the reservoir. So now, what do you guys think I do when I see reservoirs on the farms, even though there are no lettuce? So hace 2 tuvo una epidemia de Kuga y parece que el problema fue en el sedimento de abajo del reservorio. Ahí fue donde encontraron el patógeno. So, en base a ese conocimiento, ¿qué piensan ustedes que somos nosotros ahora cuando vemos un reservorio en las fincas? Do you wash that thing? Do you have a sanitation program for that? Yeah. Even though they don't grow lettuce, but we're preventing something to happen because we know that it could happen. Because it's exposed to the environment, you know, there's birds, there's everything flying through. But that's another class. Sorry. Telling you, I get passionate about these things. Document management, very important. It's up to you how you manage it, as long as you give it to them right away. Especially when they go to your door, they go to the office like, inspector, I need to see your FSVP plan. Just make sure you have all the documents ready for them. Always be ready, always. Just as a key point, you have to, as an importer, you need to verify that your suppliers meet compliance with the regulation, whether it is Regulation 117 or 112. You have to make sure, o tú tienes que asegurarte ya como puntos clave que tu proveedor extranjero cumple con la regulación 112 o 117. You have to, well, okay, so todos los FSVP van a ser en base a los records que tengas. So your FSVP verifications are based on records that you have. Muchos, there's a lot of people that get confused. Oh, are they going to come do the inspections for GMPs? No. They might do it in the future, but if they go there with the FSVP review, they're going to review the records. So a veces cuando llega el inspector, pensamos que vienen a inspeccionar la bodega de buenas prácticas. Si ellos dijeron que es por el FSVP, it's going to be solamente el FSVP records. Okay? Hablamos de non-reasonable foreseeable hazards. Acuérdense que hablamos de los peligros que saben, se conocen o pudieran ocurrir. Es algo nuevo, si no es nuevo en su vocabulario, pónganlo ahí. Hay que evaluar el riesgo de los alimentos que importan para que sus clientes o sus proveedores extranjeros también cumplan con la regulación. Y ahorita hablando de clientes, les voy a hacer una pregunta. Speaking about clients. So what happens when you're here, tú estás aquí, and you buy from importer A, but that importer brings the product from grower in Mexico. So tú le compras a él, pero él trae el producto de México. ¿Quién es el responsable de ese producto? Who's liable for that product? The importer? Yeah, only if you have an agreement with them. How are you going to minimize risk? ¿Cómo vas a bajar tu riesgo? Or your liability? How are you going to minimize liability? Well, that should be responsible of that company, right? Getting that form approved. But if you buy from them, how do you limit the liability? Yeah, get a letter guarantee. All right. If you buy local, have you seen my letters going out to all of you from our clients? No, well, they're not doing. Yeah. Of any issues, not only any issues that might happen with their food. Use all the data to approve your suppliers, history, FDA data dashboard. That's all I have. If you need help, that's my email. Well, that's the generic email. It's rislas@agrofoodsafety.com. We do everything FSVP. Not only FSVP, we're here. We're here to help you. Any questions? We don't hold anything. But if you work with me, I expect you to do your work. Está mal, it's a typo. Ooh. See, now you know where you're going to get. Oh, presents. Woohoo. Oh, man. I almost forget. Okay, so we're going to be like very open to this. So who asked the most questions from the audience?
Questions or participation?
Well, who participated the most? Who answered questions? Who answered questions? I have presents for everybody. Almost everybody. Well, excuse me, I gotta give it down. Who answered questions? You guys answer questions like that. Who else has the questions? Come on, ¿quién más contestó? Oh, you did. Oh, here you go. Ask questions, only the present.
On the hazard analysis that's required, we're gonna do hazard analysis based on the commodity,
Yes, sir.
not the growth operation.
That's their problem. They have to do that for you. But don't,
But FDA is gonna want to see that hazard analysis of your operation.
only if you put it on your SOP. So careful what you write. Who else wants to ask me a question? I'm giving free plastic away. Go ahead. You're scared now? Here, just don't get diabetic again. Ahí está. Para que se tome su agüita para el miedo. Yeah, I know, no kidding. You should see, oh man. There's people at 3 o'clock in the morning, it's like, we have an inspection tomorrow. Told you about a month ago. Now airplane that you don't, well, anyway, that's another story. So, questions. Phone number is 520-449-7398. 520-449-7398. Yes.
Okay, so you just give, like, when you write local, you just make them sign a letter of guarantee and we're good.
Yeah. Yeah.
To the ones that are here local.
Yes,
So
ma'am.
we will be responsible for.
Limit your liability, yes.
I said that if you only need a letter of guarantee when you buy locally, so you won't be responsible for the product from Mexico. And he said, yes, you just need a letter of guarantee for that. Yeah, locally. So let's just say we buy from you guys. Or the vendor, the vendor has to sign you a letter of guarantee. That way you're giving them the responsibility.
I know I don't want to make you walk in here, but there's a microphone here. Well, here.
Well, it's just basically the same question, but regarding doing the same agreement each time you buy from the local vendor.
That depends how you write the letter, but leave it open so you can only need it once. Once you make them responsible, that's it. You don't need to update it every year. Come on, more questions. I have more gifts. Más preguntas. No importa que sean en español, inglés o Mandarin, Italian, French. Ni no más. No creo. Oh my God. Look at this. Woo-hoo. Okay, I have 1, 2, 3, 4 more, 5. Freddie.
5 more questions.
Going once, going twice.
This is not a question, well, it is a question, but you offer services.
Oh, shit,
To-
you're gonna get this. No, you go ahead.
You offer services to, sorry, now I get nervous.
Anybody, hey, anybody
Pretty
that
much
pays.
to create the FSVP?
Yeah.
Okay.
So I can develop your manual, I can train your employees, I can train your suppliers. We do everything or just one thing. You know, we have a menu of services.
You review them as well?
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Okay.
We do on-site verifications. We keep telling you what's going on with them. Because the more pressure you put on them, the faster they move.
So you would go to Mexico?
Oh, yeah, I have a team over there. Sometimes I go, but I don't tell anybody when I go. But yeah,
Thank you.
yeah, no problem. Anybody else? Come on, I have 2 more presents. I'm not gonna take this with me. And this one we're gonna raffle. Yeah, yeah.
Put your
With the
business
card.
card.
You guys
that's
put
the
your
one.
credit card, your business card back there? You guys put your business card? Yeah. Yeah, para la rifa. It's right there on that. There's like a container back there. If you want to put your business card, we're going to raffle this. This is pretty good. It's made with non-recyclable plastic. Oh, no, it is recycled. Anybody else wants to put the card? No? Ooh, there comes Freddie.
Yeah, we can. I'll do it from here.
Fine.
So-
Oh, here, there's one more. Hold on.
Ya metí la mano santa.
Ricardo Islas. 520 449 7398. No problem. And I have cards in here. I don't use them anymore, but sometimes we need them. No, but I'm here every month. We have so many clients here. I'm here like, so we teach all the official classes for FSPCA, Pro Safety Rule, everything, FISMA. So I'm here like every month, and some of you know me. Like every month I'm here, at least a week. We do a lot of stuff remote, Zoom. It really depends on what you need. But we'll make you be in compliance. But once again, if you work with us, you need to do your part. Because I don't get paid for giving you something.
We know that for big corporation and big companies, we know that there's different departments. You know, you have the quality assurance, we have the food safety, you have procurement, logistics, and all of that. What would you do if the quality or the assurance team tells this is not an approved supplier, but realistically, to a day-to-day operations, you need the product, right? Talking from a capital perspective. What would you do as a corrective action if the FSVP team mentions to procurement and to whole operations, hey guys, it is not the best, it does not go to the standards, did not provide, but they still procure from them?
So if you are the QI, one of your responsibilities to educate your upper management, right? All right, perfect. So when they tell you, oh, we're gonna go ahead and sell it, do you have that in writing? You can have it whichever way you want it. That would just be a matter of you protecting yourself. The rest is their decision. It's a decision. Just protect yourself at that point. ¿Por qué crees que te enseñé esta página al principio? Si tú eres el qualified individual, that's the first thing I show to my managers. Yeah. Ahí está, nomás hazle Google FDA warning letters y luego te va a dar un query y ahí selecciona producto FSVP, ponle y te va a todos ellos. So it's FDA warning letters issue y ahí te va a dar el website. Issue. Yeah. Te van a hacer un montón de compañías de tercería que quieren hacer otras cosas, pero asegúrate que vayas al FDA website. Okay, so who's the champion or girl, boy, or
pues usted va a ser el privilegiado. Nomás que tiene que ser mano santa. So what's the deal again with the FDA warning letters?
You want to answer right now?
Yes.
So if you get a warning letter, that's like the worst thing you can get.
So then in that website or that, there's going to be some names there.
Right, it's gonna be all the companies that have. received
So we
warning letters.
put the names right now. You run it right now. You see the names of companies?
Yeah, I'll do it right now.
Ooh. No. Mejor no.
All right, here.
Mejor así déjalo.
Go ahead and look at it. Oh, no way.
Oh, wait, pues. I guess Cumas, Salinas. Salinas is our winner. Winner up. No se crean. You have something? No, pero eso. No se crea. I was just. I don't think they want to see their name. I don't think that's your name there. That's a case. Oh. Ruby Sita. That's your last name? Sita? Yes, please come. Take a picture, whatever you want. This I want to buy. I won't buy that. And the other one is, it's not fair, right? I'm the only one doing it here. That's justo, ¿verdad? Pero es más fácil. Oh, no, Mando Flores. He's gone. Sabe que soy el último ahí. Y se lo da a usted, al que quiera. Usted sáquelo y se lo da. Ahí está.
Oh, shit, Montserrat.
Who's Montserrat. Oh, I thought he said, he's the one in red. Pero es Montserrat. Well, I guess that's it for today. Thank you. Muchas gracias. We're not here promoting any type of business, with the city of Pharr, but that's something you guys need. That's a needs that you guys have. Whoever you guys want to approach to them, to Mr. Islas, you're more than welcome. Una vez más, gracias. Abril 12 tenemos el de e-produce with the accountability and finance en lo que es en produce, en contabilidad y finanzas, en inventarios, entradas y salidas. Si usted está interesado por ahí va a recibir, si se quiere alistar a ese, aquí vamos a estar también presentes. Que tenga un buen viaje, broches en el cinturón y los vemos en la próxima. Yes.